forget, we've got a bunch of fantastic
Hello and
content
good
coming
evening,
up for
everyone.
you,
It is
including this phenomenal interview. Take it away, Fu.
This evening, I'm joined by KatLink, who's getting ready to do her Resident Evil 4 remake run. This is a new game, standard any percent. So how's it going, Kat? Hi.
Going pretty good. I'm pretty nervous about the run, but I'm also very excited. It's going to be a good time.
Yes, I agree. Well, I know that it's pretty broken, and I do want to touch upon that, but I kind of first wanted to get into just like horror speedrunning in general, like all these scary games. It's actually a pretty big part of the speedrunning community. I kind of said it was niche earlier, but what I meant by that is like it's got a really solid community around it, and there's so many scary games that can be mixed in, and I know you have a lot of experience. So I just kind of wanted to hear your thoughts about like what it's been like to be part of the horror speedrunning community, like that group.
You meet all sorts of different people. There's all sorts of different runs. You got first person runs, which are personally my favorite a lot of the time. You got third person, over the top. You got all sorts of different variety of types of horror. You know, it's been so much fun just learning all sorts of different runs. Like right now I'm learning 50 indie horror speed runs just to see what kind of runs are out there for, horror.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've definitely have been touching upon not only like indie horror runs, but I've seen you play a lot of indie horror games.
Oh yeah.
And it's cool to like see all of those out there. I feel like there's so many people just making all of these little horror games. And because the community is at the size that it is, I don't know why. I get like a lot of that. I just feel like I have a lot of exposure to a lot of these games. And so it's great to see that and to, again, learn a little bit more about your community and all the things that you're a part of. And now, so when you say like you're learning 50 indie horror games and you said you like first person a little better, I kind of want to like expand on that for a second and like hear more about what draws you to the first person perspective and like what kind of indie games, like where you're choosing from, like where do you find the games you're running?
So my personal favorite is Resident Evil 7. I put mountains of hours into that game. So it's just the feeling of it feels more exact. Like I know where the turn is, where I'm going. Like obviously with different category or different games of like Resident Evil, where Resident Evil is like obviously there's so many different camera angles, but I've always just fell in love with the first person specific ones, as well, just like indie horror games. There's a lot of first person. It just feels more in tune with the run itself. And like when I usually go across like trying to think, is this a good speed run for me? Usually it's like I like some good boss fights, I like some good menuing, inventory, and then just like making sure the game feels nice to play movement wise, which can be a lot harder to find than you would think, but there's been some really good gems in the indie horrors that I've been really enjoying.
I agree. And I feel like this spans across like just gaming in general, but with a lot of indie games, especially when you like watch big YouTubers or, watching your streams, things like that. There's so many games out there that are just tons of demos. And so trying to find one that feels it's full enough, long enough, like involved enough.
There's so many demos. I've been trying to like have like demo days where I just like, okay, let's try a bunch of indie horror demos and see where that goes. And like sometimes you find some stinkers, sometimes you find some gems. It's really up in the air. It's like scraping the bottom of the barrel just to find those gems. But there's a lot of really talented indie devs out there.
Yeah, I agree. And there's some really cool experiences and things that like make the horror genre just stand out. Like it's got its own unique angle. And like, oh my gosh, I had a point and I've kind of lost it. So let's get into RE4 remake then.
Yeah, let's talk about the run.
Yeah, exactly. If I think about it, I'll bring it back up. But so for remake, the obvious question here is always like, oh, what's the difference between this and the original? And the first thing I know is that it's really broken. So like, tell us a little bit about that.
So the original patch or like the original game of Resident Evil 4 Remake was absolutely broken. Matt was able to find a glitch where you can use the sniper to basically aim down sights and go out of bounds by flicking and interacting with a door. So basically you can skip like large portions of the game. You can skip boss fights. It's kind of crazy how much that one skip was able to basically just shatter the entire game. Obviously, on current patch, that's not available, but I will be playing on a down patch version of the games to be able to show that off and show all the little tips and all the little tricks and stuff there. It's really fun. There's a few extra stuff that I'll have to go about with breaking the game. There's some new stuff that we use, but yeah, just one glitch to rule them all, I guess you could say.
Exactly. Break all the walls. We always love a good game when you can associate it with the walls are just a suggestion. So I'm very excited to see it. Plus, I mean, maybe we should have that on the Hotfix show at some point.
Maybe.
The Hotfix shows, you all should go check them out. Did you know we do Hotfixes outside of these events?
I frequent them sometimes, check them out. They're really cool.
Yes. Kat has been on a number of them. Definitely watch. But thank you for chatting about like horror games. I'm really excited to see all these coming up. I mean, yours is coming up right after Signalis, which is next. So you all need to stick around for that. Then we've got Fear. And we also had Illbleed earlier. And if you want to watch later this week, we've also got Resident Evil Village. So we have more Resident Evil after Kat's run too. So very exciting to see all this coming up. Your run is going to be amazing. Don't worry. I have absolute faith. It's going to be super fun. Even just showing off how broken it is at the base level is going to be such an amazing watch. So you're going to do great. Thank you for chatting. And
thank you very much. Hope the RNG is with me on that run, but thank you very much, Foo. This has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I know. It's always fun chatting. And also, please get your donations in for bonus game, which is Fear. So we need to finish out that horror block tonight after Resident Evil 4.
Get those donations.
Best of luck, Kat. All right.
Thank you
so much, everyone. We'll see you later.
All right, chat. For those of you who are just joining us, you are watching Flame Fatales, which is brought to you by Frame Fatales, an all-women community for those who are interested in speedrunning, charity events, and gaming. We are here today raising money for Malala Fund, and I want to thank a few donors real quick. We've got a $10 donation from That Dude Jibs that says no D-pad run, a new category on speedrun.com. Congrats on crushing it. We have a $20 donation from Deschain33 that says, hey, Kat, you got this. Don't let Resident Evil 4 Remake get you down. You're amazing and will do great. That was a phenomenal interview, and I am also sure that Kat will be doing great. We have a $25 donation from Ebert that says, let's go Ruby. That run was sick, and I agree. We have a $25 anonymous donation. Thank you from Anonymous. We have a $25 donation from Crepe Goat. We have a $50 donation from Rarest. Thank you to both of you. We have a $500 donation from Leonidas MMII. Thank you so much. We have a $50 donation from Frosty Klondike that says, I always look forward to GDQ and enjoy the good vibes the events create. Shout out to the bonus Fear run by Fina that's coming up. Let's go. Chat, let's go. We have raised over $17,000 for Malala Fund so far. And if you want to see this Fear speed run, all it takes is getting to 22 tonight. We are less than $4,000 away, and it is very, very doable. Also, you might remember that we have some incentives for our upcoming runs. Let me tell you all about those. Right now, this is your very last chance to know things about these, right? It's a secret between you and me, chat. We have the choose the category for Signalis, and we have the choose the costume for Signalis. But shh, don't tell anyone I told you, or maybe tell them anyway. We also have some additional incentives that are now open. The first one is to choose Ashley's costume on our upcoming run of Resident Evil 4 Remake. There's 3 options: the romantic costume, the casual costume, and the default costume. Additionally, we also have an incentive to choose Leon's costume. There are 6 options for Leon here. Quite the buffet if you're a connoisseur here. The villain is by far so far the favorite. It is winning by a landslide, but you have 5 other options. You could make him match with Ashley and also pick the romantic costume. You could go with the casual costume. You could let us get default Leon. You could let him be a hero. Or you can put him in the very snazzy, very fashion-forward pinstripe suit. Now, that one is my personal favorite, and I'm sure all of you classic Resident Evil 4 fans will agree with me there. That's the one I'm rooting for. But regardless of which option you choose, all of your donations today benefit Malala Fund, and all of them go towards that fear bonus run. So please, please, please keep it going. You're doing a fantastic job. For those of you who don't know, Malala Fund is working for a world where every girl can learn and lead. They believe local educators and activists are best suited to address the problems girls face in their communities. Malala Fund invests their work in collective power to create change, hold leaders accountable, and give girls the tools they need to advocate for themselves. From supporting STEM education for young women in Pakistan by creating learning spaces for girls in northern Nigeria, your gift today is an investment in Malala Fund programs that directly benefit girls. And for those of you who may be joining us more recently and don't already know, Flame Fatales is presented by Frame Fatales, an all-women community for those who are interested in speedrunning, charity events, and gaming. If you would like to support Flame Fatales, you can follow us on Twitter at Frame Fatales, tell people about this event, or you can type !FF in chat right now to learn more. You'll get a link and it'll give you all the information you need. Additionally, if you're curious about what runs are coming up, not only tonight, but throughout the rest of the marathon, you could type !schedule in chat to get a link to that as well. Now, don't forget, the schedule will load in your local time, so regardless of where or when you click, you will have the most up-to-date information about what to expect and when. So don't forget about that chat as well. I want to thank you and everyone else who has donated today so far for raising over $17,000 for Malala Fund. This is incredible work. It takes all of us working together to reach our goals, and we are crushing it. Looks like we got a couple more donations coming in. We've got a $50 donation from Rarest. We've got a $10 donation from Milk Toasty. And a $10 anonymous donation. Thank you all. Don't forget, chat, you do not have to leave a lengthy comment to contribute to the cause here today. Every contribution is appreciated and accepted. It looks like, okay, I'm so sorry to have to do this to you, chat. I have to cut off our bid war now. It looks like our winner for the category is Promise, with a whopping $330 raised for Malala Fund. Thank you so much to everyone that donated towards the category incentive. We raised well over $500 cumulatively across categories. Additionally, I want to thank everyone that contributed towards the costume incentive, which is the one-armed costume. These are unique and exciting choices, and I want to thank everyone that contributed towards both of those. Don't forget, those are not our last incentives for tonight. So if you still want to pick costumes for Leon or Ashley, those will be open until the run starts. I want to thank a couple donors real quick. We have a $100 donation from Gareth, Tally, Ed, and Al that says, "The pets want promise." And yes, promise they shall have. We have a $250 donation from Anonymous. It says, "Excited to support the Fatales again." Thank you so much, Anonymous. Alrighty, we have waited long enough. Chat, are you ready for a phenomenal promise-ending run of Signalis by Miss Scarlett Tanager? If you're ready, please take it away.